This is the Shotgun City Sheriff, the law himself, Clayton Clark.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Kennedy, a.k.a. Mr. Anderson.
This is the Young Titan, Aaron Atlas.
Hey, this is Matt Brannigan.
This is the Warbound Hellhound Bo Sword.
This is your favorite drunken pro wrestler, a.k.a. the Bud Light Brawler, Dalton Davis.
This is Lizzie Six.
This is Jake Something.
And this is the jaw-jacking, back-cracking, God created all men equal, and then he made me the sequel, Rohit Raju, and you are listening to the Spot Show Podcast.
Spot Show Podcast.
The Spot Show Podcast.
Spot Show Podcast. Podcast.
The Spot Show Podcast.
Spot Show Podcast. Hell yeah.
The Spot Show Podcast.
The Spot Show Podcast? Yeah, that's right, I stuttered. Shut up.
Sometimes we fall down rabbit holes, right?
All the time with us.
All the time. But I'm talking in our own personal lives where you just get a thought in your head and you're like, I wonder what this is. And then you Google it. And like, I wonder, like, let's just cut to the chase here because this is going to bring up my point here. Do you remember, of course you do, how big of a success in the early 2000s the Blue Collar Comedy Tour was?
Oh my God, that thing was everywhere.
You couldn't go anywhere without Blue Collar Comedy Tour. Now, granted, Jeff Foxworthy was, of course, known as a comedian before Blue Collar Comedy Tour.
Yeah, he was like the staple of the group, the foundation.
It was a vehicle to get him over. But ultimately, the big breakout star from it was Larry the Cable Guy. I had never heard of Larry the Cable Guy until Blue Collar Comedy Tour. And I do remember, I am not ashamed to admit that I watched a lot of Blue Collar Comedy Tour. Here's something crazy about that, though. Because this does not feel right to me.
Okay.
The first one came out in 2003. The second one in 2004. And the third one in 2005. They just had a 3-year run of releasing these fucking things.
And that's not including like their Comedy Central specials and all that.
Well, yeah, the Comedy Central specials were completely separate. But like, that's what you think about. It's like, the third one, like, think of it like Jackass, for example,
yes.
Right? I mean, the first one comes out in 2001, second one 2006, third one 2010. So you would, or no, sorry, the Jackass movie was 2002. So that's where because it was 4 years between the first three. That's where there's like, there had to be like a 2-3 year break.
But no, those were back to back to back.
The back to back to back. And you want to talk about riding a wave of momentum because, my Lord, those, like you were saying, you just had to be there to experience it because they were everywhere.
Like, off topic here, but like ties it all in. Remember the merchandise from that shit that you would see in gas stations?
No, it's still on topic because it's the truth.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we're bringing up here is that it's like Blue Collar Comedy Tour was such a phenomenon. And like, how many, especially considering where we went to high school, okay, so you would have been in high school when the third one came out. I would not have been. You probably would have been for the second one as well if it was 2004.
I still remember when the first one came out, the whole get her done.
That's what I'm saying is that the school that we went to, how many times did you hear get her done? They call me tater salad. Here's your sign. How
you might be a redneck.
You might be a redneck. But see, that's the thing though, is that you might be a redneck almost transcends Blue Collar Comedy Tour.
Because that was popular beforehand.
Absolutely it was. Like Jeff Foxworthy had stand-up specials in like the 80s. Like, yeah, you might be a redneck. But my point with this is, what are these guys like? That is such an era of stand-up comedy that you just do not see anymore. You don't really see the gimmick comedian.
Like the whole catchphrase comedian.
Catchphrase comedian. You know, you look back to fucking Def Comedy Jam when you had Shucky Ducky and Hamburger.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, it was essentially, it was the two sides of each coin where it's like you had your more country side with Get Her Done and here's your sign. But then you had the more urban environment of like hamburger and shucky ducky quack quack. Like a lot of people I bet don't even realize that that's where Booker T got that, was from a comedian named Shucky Ducky. And he was on Blue Collar Comedy Tour, or not Def Jam rather.
Yeah.
Because it's like there was this dichotomy between Blue Collar Comedy Tour and then Def Jam comedy. It's like I said, it's like rural versus urban, like, hip hop country.
Yes.
It's so weird.
But it all tied in together.
It did. And it was just this weird era, like I said, of the catchphrase character comic. And it's like, what if we saw that come back? Like, do you think that in today's society,
With all these TikTok comedians.
yeah, like
If you look at it now, like that was the catchphrase era. Like nowadays is the insult era,
yeah,
where people just go pay money to get put down in front of their favorite comedian. Like it's crazy to see like the evolution of like popular comedy.
yeah, it absolutely is. And then it's like you look at people like George Carlin, for example, who people can be like, oh, he was so ahead of his time. And it's like, yeah, he absolutely was. But then there was that little lull period again of where it was the punchline is my catchphrase, get her done. So it's just like, you just don't see, like, just sort of
It's like the catchphrase comedians died out with like Dane Cook.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Because like, even though we're talking about Blue Collar Comedy Tour, like Dane Cook was obviously not blue collar.
No.
But he definitely a super finger. Like, he would do the shit like that.
Yeah, he was like the last one I could think of.
So,
like, I mean, you got your Jeff Dunham, but he's got like all the different multiple puppets and stuff.
But do you even still have Jeff Dunham? Because when's the last time you heard anything about him?
That's true.
Like, that's what I'm saying, is that it's like, what if there was a resurgence of this shit?
like the catchphrases?
Like, of catchphrase character comedians. Like just imagine someone like, I don't know, fucking, instead of like fucking, hey, how you doing, everybody? I'm Franky the Frycook. I'm gonna get out here. I'm gonna be Franky the Frycook. Hang on.
I'm choking over here, brother.
We might be onto something here.
Franky the Frycook from Waxahachie, Texas.
I'm Franky the Frycook. But here's the thing, though. From Waxahachie, Texas, yes, Franky the Frycook. The second coming of Larry the Cat. Here's the thing, though. He needs his get her done.
He needs to get her done?
He needs his get her done.
What are you thinking over here, brother?
I don't know, but it's just like, it's like, what are we doing?
There you go. There you go. Franky the Frycook. What we doing?
Hey, everyone, coming to the stage now.
I can picture it now, dude. It's on those generic Zippo lighters.
Yeah.
It's on the bandanas, the little...
Dude.
You remember the magnetic car decal stickers?
That's what I'm saying. Just imagine all these fucking, like, shitty gas station...
apparel.
Shitty gas station apparel. How many... This is what I'm saying, is that you would see so many cricket white blue collar moms with their cricket with a fucking spatula on it, and what we doing?
What we doing?
Oh, Franky the Frycook. And it's like, that's what I'm saying, is that it's like, God damn, dude, like, Franky the Frycook would probably not even be that funny, but it's like, you would need to know your audience.
Oh, yeah,
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, he could probably get up there and be like, just imagine it's like, hey, ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage. You probably seen him in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. We got him here deep in the heart of Texas. We got the hometown show. We got the hometown boy, Waxahachie, Texas. Please welcome Franky the Frycook. And the crowd just goes fucking, they're already yelling, what we doing?
What we doing, Franky?
What we doing? They're already yelling from the crowd, and he's like, hey, settle down now, settle down.
They got those
now.
fucking generic trucker hats that are embroidered but misspelled while we're doing.
Oh my God, he comes out to fucking Thunder Rolls by Garth Brooks. Like, It's just like, what are you doing? Or no, because it's a hometown show, he comes out to My Town by Brooks and Dunn. Or no, sorry, Montgomery Gentry. Yes, I do know
I'm
the
not
difference.
big on the country.
Yeah, I know. But it's just like him coming out, nah, 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 nah.
The fucking fry apron on.
But like, here's what he does. Yes, he's wearing a fucking like
a flannel fry apron.
Yes. He's got. Wow. Here's the thing. Like everyone's in the crowd. What we doing, Frankie? What we doing? And he's just like, oh, I'm gonna tell you what we're doing. We're gonna get up here and tell a little bit of joke now. That's what we're gonna do. How we all doing tonight, everybody?
What we doing out there, guys?
He doesn't say it yet, though. You got to build to it. You got to build the suspense. He gets up there and he goes, all right, I got a little question for everybody out here in the crowd right now. Y'all ready? Oh, yeah, what we doing, Frankie? Okay, yeah, all right, hang on now. We got a little question for you. If a well-endowed woman works at the Hooters, what kind of woman with one leg, where's she work? Oh, no, Frankie, what we doing? Well, she works at the IHOP. It's just like he would just be doing.
Just like the worst dad jokes.
Oh, the shittiest dad jokes. It's like, hang on, like I'm gonna look up some dad jokes.
We're Googling this now.
Yeah, I'm gonna look up some dad jokes.
Frankie the Frycook is gonna be our new avatar for the podcast.
Frankie the Frycook is my new favorite fucking thing ever. This is my new fucking thing ever. Like, I just imagine all the fucking MAGA hats in the crowd like mixed together with all the "What we doing" t-shirts and like all the fucking Ford F-150s with their fucking,
what are we doing flags hanging off.
What we doing? No, it's not what are we doing. It's what we doing.
Like WAH apostrophe.
Oh, yeah. After an unsuccessful harvest, what did the farmer decide, or why did I already fucked up my own bit. What we doing?
That's perfect.
What we doing? After an unsuccessful harvest, why did the farmer decide to try a career in music?
I don't know, Frankie. What we doing?
Because he had a ton of sick beats. What we doing? Crowd going fucking nuts. Fucking
cans of chew and beer cans.
Oh my God! There's just so much zen in the crowd. Goes, I like the way that this boy is it's clean humor. It's clean humor. That's why I like Frankie the Frycook. I believe in this man. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Spot Show Podcast, an independent wrestling podcast with a few pit stops along the way. Those pit stops are at the freaking Chuckle Hut in Gatlinburg so that you can hear what we're doing.
Straight from Waxahachie, Texas.
Frankie the Frycook, brother. That is just like, I don't know, like, why I just became obsessed with Larry the Cable Guy this week. And not obsessed with Larry, not obsessed. I shouldn't say obsessed, because this literally was last night. I was just like, man, what is going on with Larry the Cable Guy? Like, what's he up to nowadays?
Tooth Fairy number 6.
Yeah. Do you know Larry the Cable Guy's real name?
No.
Dan Whitney.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a nice ring to it.
Yeah, well, not as good as old Larry the Cable Guy, or as good as Frankie the Frycook. What are we doing? So, yeah, again, this is the Spot Show Podcast. Every other week, Michael Madrox and I get together and create fictional stand-up comedians. No, actually, we get together and we talk about this wacky, wacky world of independent wrestling. And if you like what we're doing here, which how could you not like what we're doing here, you can go on over to patreon.com/MadBash Studios, back us at the $5 and above tier, and you're going to get this show completely ad-free and early. But that's not all that you're going to get. You're also going to get the special post-show paid show that goes on with this show, which, contrary to popular belief, isn't always going to me getting violently angry. It's actually, we're going to try to curb that a little bit and be better about that. So yeah, that's not the only way that you can support us. You can go to your favorite podcasting platform. You can leave us a 5-star written review. That's one of the best ways to support us, honestly. Here's another thing that we got. We got some plug skis. We got a little bit of some plug skis for you. We got nothing. MadBash is officially on winter break until March of next year. That is going to be our first booking of the year, unless something comes up. But I really don't think anything else is going to come up.
I know something we could plug.
What can we plug?
January 3rd, YouTube, Redline, the debut, baby.
There we go. There we go. I was going to be getting to that one. Yeah, we got the first episode of Redline is going to be available on YouTube, but it's available right now on Patreon. That's why you got to be on Patreon. You know what I mean? That's why you got to do it.
Hook up early.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, some big news also. This is the final podcast of the year because, as you know, we are doing every other year, or a week rather. And we are just going to take the remainder of the year off because, well, there's only one more week left of the year after this. So,
and it's Christmas.
Yes, but the good news is January, what was the date on here? You would think I would be prepared. January 2nd, we will be back, and we will be going back to our weekly format. So you can look forward to that. You know, we've had a rough couple of months, so we've just been trying to find our footing, and we're going to get into that. But again, just want to let you guys know that this episode is, of course, brought to you by Elite Pro Wrestling and Venom Energy Drink. Can't beat that.
I love me some
Can't
Venom.
beat that. What we doing?
What we're doing here,
What
Venom?
we doing? Everybody coming to the stage right now. You saw him on America's Got Talent. He didn't even last 5 minutes. Because let's be honest.
Are the auditions for America's Got Talent even 5 minutes long?
Probably not. Probably not. But yeah, it's almost as if we're Googling. So, wow, okay, what we doing, everyone? What we doing? How we doing? You got the crowd going, what we doing, Franky? Oh, I'm going to tell you what we're doing. Why are frogs good at baseball?
What was that?
They know how to catch fly balls. What we doing? What we doing?
Crowd goes wild.
What we doing? What
Dude,
we
thinking
doing?
about like the catchphrase comedians, like you think there'd be a resurgence with like how popular professional wrestling is right now?
Well, goddamn, there's about to be a resurgence with jokes like this. What's the easiest building to lift?
What's that, Frankie?
A lighthouse.
Oh.
What we doing? You there, sir? I've been interacting with you right now. I got one question for you. Why do sweaters tend to hang out together?
I don't know. What we doing?
Oh, what we doing? Because they're pretty close knit. What we doing? What we doing? I'm telling you, I'm going to say this right now. And I'm almost regretting this. If we get, what's the number that I want to set here? Because I want to set a realistic one, but I don't want to set
too low. And I got to set a deadline. Should we discuss this off microphone? Because I have no idea what you're trying to pull here.
No, because I kind of want to do this. If we can get, by the end of the year, 5 new Patreon backers at the $5 tier, you have my word, next year, I will develop the Franky the Frycook character, and I will go to a local bar here and do open mic night comedy.
Oh my God.
But we got to get 5 new, whether you...
I will make 5 new emails right now.
No, it's got to be legit. It's got to be legit.
That's legit.
Now, that includes, you know what? We're just going to say in general, whether it be 5 or 10. If we get 5 backers, whether it be on the 10 or the $5 tier, then I will develop the
and we're
Franky
gonna watch
the
this
Frycook
character die instantly.
and we will film it, and I will go do a live performance sometime in probably January or February of Franky the Frycook at our local establishment here that does open mic comedy.
I'm all for this.
So spread the word. Spread the word. That even includes people that renew. You know, say you haven't had a subscription for a while, you want to come back and you renew it, your name goes into the tally, but you have got until January 31st.
Oh.
Yeah.
Deadline,
Until
deadline.
that clock strikes midnight, ooze. So what we doing, Madrox? What we doing? What we doing?
Trying to figure out where we lost our damn minds currently.
I did not mean to slip into Franky the Frycook right there. No, so, you know, like I said, this is a bittersweet thing because this is the last podski of the year. And typically whenever we do this, we like to look back on our year. And, you know, the last time that we did a year in review, you weren't able to be here because you were sick. It was me, Dalton, and Clayton.
Yep.
And we did end up phoning you, and you were able to give some of your takes on how you thought the year went. But the other thing, you got to think that was our freshman year. We're now going into our junior year. This is our sophomore year, and there's that old adage of when it comes to musicians that your first album is the easiest because you have your entire life to make it. Your second one, you've already set the bar. So we set the bar.
We set the bar pretty damn high too.
We set the bar pretty damn high in our first year. Now, I'm going to start with you, and then we will then go to me, and I can give my takes and stuff on it. Take the good, take the bad, take them both. There you have MadBash's 2024. Would you say that we exceeded expectations that we set for ourselves? Do you think that we met expectations, or do you think that we might have underdelivered?
I think we honestly exceeded, because we went going into this year with a game plan on what we wanted to accomplish.
Yeah.
And I feel like we have doubled, even tripled the workload with that.
Yeah.
Like, we've had more MadBash Wrestling championship defenses. MadBash Wrestling has been featured in more companies.
Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to say that there's more because this is the first year we had the championship.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
You know what I mean?
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But, like,
what are we doing?
What are we doing here? But, like, MadBash has really been a dominant force in, like, all the Midwest at every show.
Yeah.
Which is something like last year when we started MadBash Wrestling, it was few and far in between.
It was like, so what exactly are you, what is this?
Yes.
What exactly are you guys doing?
This year we're pulling off multiple shows a month, which was amazing.
Yeah, it felt good. And it also, it's the thing of where we're starting to get the trust in people, of where it's like we've proven ourselves that we can do this. We've had people reach out to us and say, hey, we would love to have the MadBash title on our show. And then we did. And then there's also other opportunities where it's like, hey, we need a spot filled. We know that we can count on you guys. Do you want to do this? And then
absolutely.
We end up doing it. And I think that that's something
I hold dear, to like have that trust and faith from all these promoters.
Yeah. And as much as I love the admiration and the trust of the fans and the support of the fans, it's always going to mean a lot to me. But it's on a different level, because to me personally, what's more important, that doesn't diminish what I just said.
No.
But the respect of our peers. The respect of our peers that are like looking at what we've been doing.
Because I look at it this way, fans are always going to be there. They're always going to respect everything we're doing. It's the peers that they come from the shady business that is professional wrestling, and they come from the egotistical place of professional wrestling. So when we get their respect, it means so much more, because we broke those damn walls down.
Yeah. A lot of people in independent wrestling are jaded by a lot of the experiences that they've had. And like, if you don't believe us, listen to an episode of Paid Show. We go into detail plenty of times over ways that we've been, that we feel, and honestly, you're justified to feel jaded, because like, there have been
look
many,
how we came up.
Yeah, exactly. And we're just one of many. And you're hard pressed to find an independent wrestler that has not been wronged. So every independent wrestler, to a certain degree, they're always on guard.
Oh yeah,
because of what they've been through. And I don't blame them.
No.
At all. So then, to answer my own, how can you not say that we exceeded? Because I think let's not just talk about MadBash Wrestling, because I feel like that's kind of but let's just as a whole.
Yes.
MadBash Wrestling only started in September. So it was like the last quarter of the year last year.
Yeah.
So naturally, MadBash Wrestling exceeded the previous year's expectations. That goes without saying. I also do agree, though, and feel that MadBash Studios as a whole exceeded the previous expectations, because, you look at what we did, and time is nuts. And I don't remember who I had this conversation with, and I think I've brought it up on the podcast before, of where it's like you blink and all of a sudden you're 12 years in wrestling.
Yeah.
In my case, almost 20 for you. And which is nuts to think about. But it's like, it literally feels like yesterday that Clayton Clark was walking into my house for the first time. And then we sat down, but let's even go further back than that Dalton Davis was walking into my house for the first time. And then we recorded a podcast with him. That Stephen Mitchell was here. We were recording podcasts with him. We're going to go back to Clayton. That, it was the first time that we ever hung out with Clayton. And then now look, he's a mainstay in our lives.
Yeah.
And the same goes for Dalton, and the same goes for Silva. Like, what day goes by that we don't talk to Jay Silva somehow? Or even, shout out to MadBash champion Colby Jack. Like, I remember when we first met Colby, and
it was at our first show back.
I remember the first conversation that I ever had with Colby Jack. Walked up, hi man, I'm Dickie. Hi, I'm Colby, in his awkward way. And I said, have you ever done commentary before? No, I haven't. And I said, just stick with us. You'll be okay. I've done it a few times. Okay, yeah, cool. And then now he's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
But that's something for another time whenever we just look back on the history. Let's just talk about 24 in general. We definitely exceeded expectations, I feel like. And to me, that, because we're going to get a little real on this one too, like, because we never lie to you guys. That scares me. It does. Like, and here's another thing that we need. Like, Madrox is not laughing at me. That's how Madrox displays his nerves.
Yes.
Because he agrees with me that he's scared to death too. I once heard something, and I'm going to butcher it because I always butcher it. You would think I would remember it now. When you aren't the one in charge, you have someone to answer to. You can pass the buck and say, well, it's because the boss didn't give me the buck. But when you're the one in charge,
everything falls on us.
Everything falls on us. And granted, we've got each other to work with, but that still doesn't make it easier.
Mm-mm.
And I think that we might have gotten, honestly, no, I don't think we have. I was going to say that we might have gotten a little bit overzealous on things, but I don't think that we have. I think we learned our lesson from 23, where if you remember, in the year in review in that one, I blatantly said, look, pilot season was a failure. It just was. And I think if we look back on this year, enough of this
was a failure.
Was just a failure. It was, the concept was there.
But you got to try these things to see what sticks and what doesn't.
And it just didn't stick.
Like, you say pilot season was a failure? I don't believe so, because pilot season sparked new ideas that we still continue to use to this day.
Yeah, so it's good to see Jason V just tagged in, because he pretty much told me the same thing. Yeah, that's the thing, is that you and I are just two different people. I understand where you're coming from, but to me it's a failure, because it didn't turn into anything. And like enough of this was definitely one that really broke my heart, because I felt like we had such an incredible concept, and those were truly some of the funniest shows that we recorded.
I feel like enough of this was on the wrong platform, if that makes sense.
I agree with you.
I feel like if we'd made that like a YouTube exclusive, it would have caught on better.
And who knows, it might come back one day.
Mm-hmm.
You never know.
Maybe we'll throw the past episodes up on YouTube and see what happens.
Maybe. I mean, they're all available right now on Patreon for free. You just got to make a free subscription.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't pay for the hosting anymore. So they're gone. So unless you've downloaded them or you go and sign up for free on Patreon, that's the only way to hear enough of this. And so that's where I'm my own worst critic, is that it's hard to not look at it as a failure, because it didn't become what I thought that it was going to be. And other than that, I mean, I don't I don't think there was anything else that I can really look back on this year and then consider it a failure, because and that's a good thing though.
Absolutely.
I think that's a very good thing. Let's just
we produced so much content this year. It's
we did.
Crazy.
Yeah, and that is a good segue into my next question. But before we get into that, let's hear a word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Elite Pro Wrestling. We all love live entertainment, right? We all love live wrestling, right? Well, what if I told you that there is a place that combines the entertainment and the wrestling live that we all love? Look no further than Elite Pro Wrestling. Whether it's in person in Odin, Indiana, or Washington, Indiana, or if you check them out on YouTube, Elite Pro Wrestling guarantees a quality show that allows them to live up to the name Elite. If you're feeling generous, go ahead and check them out on Patreon as well. If you back them, you're going to get early access to all of their shows before they hit YouTube. Again, check out EliteProfessionalWrestling.com. This episode is brought to you by Venom Energy. Hey, we've all been there, and there's nothing wrong with admitting to it. Well, what I mean is that we've all hit that midday slump, and we all need a little push to get us through the rest of the day. Well, what better option to give you a pick-me-up than one of the wonderful flavors of Venom Energy? Venom is what gets MadBash through those long show days, and we know that it can do the same for you. I'm going to sweeten the pot a little bit for you, too. Yeah, come to our merch table when you see us at a show, and with the purchase of a MadBash Wrestling sticker or magnet, you get a Venom Energy drink on us. While supplies last, of course, so you better act quick. We'd like to thank Venom again for sponsoring this episode. Please consume responsibly. Not recommended for children under 18, pregnant or nursing women, or people sensitive to caffeine. I am trying to remember exactly. There was a moment where it was before we announced the title, and it was on an episode, and I don't remember which episode it was, but I almost bumped it off the desk, and I said, oh, I almost dropped $200.
Yep.
And then, not to mention, the title was also in the Christmas special in the background. So let's just start off with that. That was the first big thing that we did this year, was the announcement of the MadBash Wrestling Championship. And let's just go back on your memories of that day, of that announcement, of any of that.
I don't even care about the announcement day. Like, that was a big deal to announce it, but we put the teasers up on the Patreon.
Yeah.
The big day for me was when that belt got fucking delivered.
But that wasn't 24, though, but I see what you mean.
Yeah, but
because I think we talked about that. We got the belt in
December.
We got it in December. Yeah, we got it around this time, actually. Yeah. Because I remember I sent a picture to someone, and I put the belt under my Christmas tree, and I was like, I got my Christmas tree up, and she was like, oh, that's a pretty tree. And I was like, you don't see what you're supposed to see in this photo, do you? And like, I just remember getting the belt and just, I cried.
Yep.
You teared up a little bit, and then just like we hugged, whatever.
We embraced.
And then I remember video calling all of the brothers. Dalton Davis was there in person.
Yes.
He came over to your house so that he could see it, and we just showed everyone the belt. And then we...
Off to the races,
we were. And then we had to... I remember I sent a picture of it to Stephen Mitchell that runs EPW, and I sent a picture to Jeremy Griever, who is one of the guys in charge at Hybrid. Sent it to him. I sent it... I'm talking within the business.
Yes.
I don't think Shank was a part of the group chat yet, so I sent it to him as well. And that was cool. No, Shank was. Shank was. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a fight with you guys tooth and nail to get Shank in that damn group chat.
But we sent it to like pretty much, whether group chat or no, every MadBash guy saw the belt.
Yes.
They were able to see it. And then when we filmed Clayton Clark's Christmas Vacation, that was the first time that a lot of them got to see it in person. Like, it was Clayton's first time seeing it in person, Brian Parker's first time, Draco Loco, Colby Jack.
I think in person it went Dalton Davis and Jared Savage.
Yeah, Jared was one of the first to see it in person as well. Yeah. So, but then let's go into 24. Like, I remember, like, we got a hold of Steven and we were like, listen, this belt, like, EPW means so much to the history of MadBash. It's not just because they're a sponsor and we sponsor them. It's just because you've given us the Hybrid is always going to be the one that gave us the first match. But in terms of a working relationship, we've always been and we've been great with Hybrid, but the one with EPW has just been special, because EPW was where we first got back into the wrestling business. It's not that was pre MadBash. So we were like, we want to unveil the belt on your show. And Steven said, I'm going to give you a full segment. We were like, oh my God, that's so cool. So then I remember getting in the ring and cutting the promo and being like, oh, this is what it is. Like, we're about to take the next step.
That was also the debut of Logan Madrox.
That was Logan's debut. And I remember calling him out, and he carried the belt out and then showing it off. And like, everyone just like, okay. And like, all the boys kind of squared up a little bit, but yeah, it was definitely something. It was fun. And then February, nothing really happened. We celebrated the 1 year of MadBash.
February started the tournament.
It started, that's what I was going to get to, is that, nothing majorly happened, but it started the Ascend the Throne tournament. And that was a lot of fun. And here's what's funny, and I still have it on my phone. I'll post it on the Patreon. It was the original tournament bracket for what Ascend the Throne was going to be.
That bracket has changed so many times.
And there were 3 variations of what the bracket was going to be until it turned into what it ended up being. So then you go into March, and one of the most fulfilling days of my professional wrestling career was the Ascend the Throne tournament and the Ascend the Throne show, and Chris Cutler becoming the first ever MadBash Wrestling champion. He would then go on to hold it for 216 days. So that was pretty solid. We've gotten into the behind the scenes of that, but this is stuff that you guys have heard us talk about.
Oh yeah.
So we're not going to get too much into it of like us telling Cutler and, all this other stuff, but, and then
not just fucking MadBash Wrestling though, but like other content from MadBash Studios and MadBash Films.
Yeah, there was
like that we were pumping out in between all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, how many total documentaries did we drop this year?
Ooh, that's a good question. Counting the 2 that aren't out yet, 3.
So,
the Danville Dreamers Chronicles.
Yes.
All 3 of the Danville Dreamers Chronicles, which those come out on the 31st, which is your deadline to be sure that you can try to get Franky the Frycook to come to fruition. What we doing? But yeah, so yeah, that's another thing too, is that we had other content coming out. It wasn't just MadBash Wrestling, even though MadBash Wrestling was definitely the lion's share.
Yes.
But then you look in April, we had a cancellation, so we had to modify a few things around, and we had to do a triple threat match. So the first defense for the MadBash title was a triple threat match. And it was Aaron Atlas, Clayton Clark, and Chris Cutler.
One of the best triple threat matches I've ever witnessed in person.
Yes, I will agree with you there. One of, if not the.
Yes.
It was solid. Everything, all 3 guys delivered like I knew that they would. Aaron is still bugging me he wants another shot. He'll get it at some point, I'm sure. He's just got to got to quit taking super kicks on national TV and get free so I can book him in a title match. But yeah, and like it seemed like we kind of coasted a little bit, like, because let's just be honest, let's get into the nitty-gritty of it. Summer was not great.
No.
Like, for us personally or professionally, Like, I honestly, I don't know if I remember much of what we even did this summer.
Ghost hunting.
But that was
like our.
that was autumn. That was in the fall.
Yeah.
That was in the fall, man. And like that honestly was the start of my come up of starting to come back into feeling better. I mean,
and that was my downfall.
And that was your downfall. And but I mean, we can sit here and talk about the good all we want, and I mean, there's obviously plenty good to talk about. But I mean, like, let's just get into some of the bad now. Like, you know, this is kind of a therapy session for us to just kind of ruminate over. I've been saying the word ruminate so much lately. It's just become my favorite
What we doing
word.
over there?
Yeah, what we doing? What we doing? What do you call a man laying in a pile of leaves? That's my old boy Russell. What we doing? What we doing? What we doing?
I can't handle this.
Oh, I love it. Get ready for any time. He's gonna slip in. He's gonna slip in. Trust
I
me
can't
when
wait
I
to break
tell
you on commentary and just be like, "What we doing?"
Dude, don't tempt me on that shit. Fucking Franky the Frycook is going nowhere, dude. Yeah, and we're not going to get into causes or anything necessarily, but I mean, like, yeah, it was just it was a rough summer, and you know, for me, and it was just sad. Like, I just was sad, you know what I mean? And like, I feel like I'm still on the come up. Like, I still have good days and I have bad days, and you know, anyone that suffers from depression, like, find your thing that makes you happy and keep doing it.
Absolutely.
You know, and definitely here's some other advice that is, you know, for certain people specifically, because it's not going to be, it's really more for wrestlers, kind of. I feel like don't burn yourself out. Like, you know, understand your scales of your personal and your professional life, because like, if you might be
it's
enjoying
a thin line to walk right there.
Thin line, and I tap dance on that motherfucker every week. Yeah, and you just got to know that balance, man. You just really got to know that balance, and like. And then you had your medical shit go down, and like, you're on the up, like, you're on the mend, you know, and you know,
We don't talk about that shit.
no, we don't need to, because it's like, it's already all been said. And I mean, it's like I said, we're going to be real here. Like, you know, since you've come back, there have been a couple setbacks for you, but you're not letting it stop you.
No.
And
you can't let life get in the way of where you want to be.
Yeah, and let's just point out, it's like, when you were originally going through your shit, it was legitimately a conversation of life and death.
Yes.
You're light years away from that now.
Yeah.
It's just, you have good days, you have bad days with your
Which
health.
is normal life.
Which is normal.
But I'm not going to sit out here on a soapbox and bitch and moan about my life. I'm out here recording podcasts, making up fake comedians, trying to make your guys' life so much better.
What we doing? What we doing? What do you call a blind deer? I know I deer. What we doing? What we doing? What we doing?
We need to add in the audience, like, clapping and shit for this.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. But yeah, I mean, we don't need to, you know, hyper focus on the bad. I mean, because it kind of, you know, we don't want to be a bummer. We want to be a companion for the road. You know what I mean? And we don't want you like sitting back and thinking that, like, oh, I'm just depressed on this drive. I'm gonna run into this tree. No, because we will just give you this. It's always darkest before dawn. Cliche as fuck, I know. But you take the good, you take the bad. there they both are. You know, that's just what life is. And like, don't let the bad stop you from doing the good.
No.
And that, I think, is the best way to look at Mad Bash's 2024, because it's been a rough one this year, but we persevered. We pulled through. We're going into our third year. We're going into the 2-year anniversary of Mad Bash, going into our third, and it's going to be bigger and better. So with that,
doesn't even feel like a year, man.
No, it, like I said, you blink and it's over. Like I said, it literally feels like the first time that we wrote Mad Bash on a piece of paper, blink, and it feels like that was a week ago.
It does.
And now we're here.
It's crazy.
It even feels even more of like, hey, Dickie, so what if, but just hear me out, what if we get back into wrestling? And I was like, I don't know. Okay, yeah, sure. But
what if we start a podcast?
Yeah,
I'm a horrible influence on you. Look at me go.
God. Oh my God, that's insane. You're in the best way though. In the best way though. You and I are we're the Penn and Teller of independent wrestling.
I like that
I
right
feel
there.
like we're always going to be glued to each other.
We're not afraid to call out the bullshit either, brother.
No, not at all. That's honestly, yeah, I wasn't even thinking of it in that way. It's like we pretty much are the Penn and Teller of independent wrestling, and that has nothing to do with the fact that I've been watching a bunch of Penn and Teller fool us on YouTube lately. Dude, I fell down another fucking rabbit hole with that one. We can get into that on podski though. That'd be a good little topic for podski. So then let's do this then. What was your... Because I don't want to limit it to just one thing. Okay. Because
what is your favorite thing that Mad Bash has put out this year?
Kind of, yeah. So what's your favorite thing that Mad Bash put out this year? Let's make categories. What's your favorite thing Mad Bash put out this year? What's your favorite Mad Bash wrestling match from this year? And what is your favorite moment from this year?
Okay. Favorite content we put out would probably be the Danville Dreamers Chronicles.
Yeah. Hard to beat that.
Favorite match this year?
You don't need to, like you can talk about the thing. You don't got to immediately just boom, boom, boom.
Just boom, boom, booming it, mother.
Okay.
We already talk about all this stuff a lot. I ain't trying to bore the crowd because I got a little Christmas present I want to give them to you before we run out of time.
Oh, no.
Oh, yes.
We have time.
Favorite match? I'm going to have to go with Chris Cutler versus Colby Jack in the bull rope match because it blew me away and I wasn't expecting any of that to happen under the Mad Bash Wrestling umbrella. And favorite thing that we've done wise would have to be the day we spent filming at the sanitarium.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that one for sure.
Because it was under the Mad Bash umbrella, but a day not revolving around wrestling with a group of professional wrestlers.
Yes.
It was so nice and refreshing.
So here's what made that day special for me. And I'm not going to get into, there are certain things that, we just don't get into. That week was the start of my rebuilding process.
Yes.
Of my mental health. You know why.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get into it. And then that, with that bookend of the start, and then the other bookend of filming the sanatorium video with legitimately some of my favorite people that walk the face of the earth. And I'm not speaking in hyperbole. Legitimately, some of my favorite human beings. Jason V, Cara, you, Logan, Colby. It meant so much to me. And I'm not even going to make that my moment. But I'm going to make that my favorite piece of content that we put out. And honestly, guys, I mean, we are not good at YouTube because we don't do a lot with it. We honestly probably should promote it better. But you really should go out of your way to go to our YouTube channel and watch that sanatorium video. It may not be your cup of tea that you're like into paranormal, but it's like, I'm telling you, like there's more to it than that.
We weren't even there for paranormal.
No, we weren't at all. And it is truly one of my favorite things that we've ever put out. Like, it was just so good, and it was fun, and it, you know, we had every level of skeptic there. We had Colby that didn't believe in a damn thing, and then we have me and you who are super duper believers. V, who I would say is up there with us, and then Logan maybe a step down, Cara maybe a step down from Logan. And it was just overall just an incredible day that if you have not seen our ghost hunting video from the Indiana State Sanatorium, then you're really missing out.
Oh yeah.
You're really missing out. So that's my favorite piece of content that we put out. I'm going to get to match last. My favorite moment, and this is going to get a little bit in the weeds, I feel like, but you know, it is what it is. My favorite moment was Colby Jack winning the MadBash title and just hugging him after the match. And I'm going to tell you, and it was sad to see Cutler lose because he was an incredible champion. You know, he carried the flag for the company for so long that I even, let's just fucking throw it out there. I even wrote him a little note, put it in his envelope for that night, thanking him for all he'd done.
Yeah.
But one of my favorite things of this year in general is seeing the rise of Colby Jack and seeing him come back from a place where he never thought that he could. And I remember him first telling us of like, hey, I'm going to be able to wrestle again. And then to take him to IWAU and see him wrestle his first match in 2 years, didn't miss a beat. And then we had that conversation. We were just like, you know what? Why not Colby? And then for him to win the title, and then, you know, naturally he became hyper fixation. Colby Jack was like, so did I do this right? Did I do this right? And it was like, yeah, Colby, it was fine. Yeah, that was my favorite moment, was seeing him. Honestly, my favorite because it's moment, right? Mm-hmm. To encapsulate it into one singular moment, it was watching the Mad Cow's entrance, because that was chilling, and it was just like, it was just so cool to see. So cool to see.
Seeing like where Colby came from, like, pull back the curtain. We were the first two people Colby told.
Yeah,
that he got cleared
with tears in his eyes.
With tears in his eyes, that meant a lot to me.
Yeah,
and then just seeing him come out, it was like he shed his past and all the naysaying and all that. And when he made his entrance to that ring, he made sure that night was about him.
Yeah,
he got his flowers.
Yeah, and I can't say that that's my favorite match though. It's number 2. It is absolutely number 2 on the list. Number 1, I gotta give it to the triple threat.
Yeah.
I gotta give it to the triple threat. I said, give it, well, this is what's kind of funny about it. I said, give it a couple of years, you're going to be seeing these 3 guys on TV. Literally within months, Aaron was on AEW TV.
Yes.
As a security guard spot. And, you know, I said, you're witnessing the future of independent wrestling in this ring. In the Midwest, you're witnessing the future of Midwest independent wrestling in the ring right now. Like, all 3 of these guys are going to go above and beyond any expectations that you have set for them. I mean, obviously,
unless again they were Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah. You know, obviously we saw some brothers go down and out this year. You know, Dalton had the fibula break, but he came back better than ever. New hybrid champion. We haven't recorded since he won the belt, have we? I don't think.
Yeah, we did. We talked about it in the last episode.
Oh yeah, that's right. We did the whole. See, that's the thing of doing every other week now. I honestly forget. When we were doing it weekly, it was always fresh in my mind. But yeah, to see him to see him come back. I would put that at number 2 of my, and that's not even a MadBash. That's a MadBash boy moment.
Yeah.
That's not something that we did, but
That's a family moment.
That was a family moment because it involved Dalton, Clayton. I was on commentary. It was just really cool. And then, Ace Perry, who I have now become pretty solid friends with this year. That's the one thing that I'm actually really thankful for this year, is that I have officially become, like, I could say I'm good friends with these guys.
Yeah.
Like, Ace, I was kind of already buddies with Logan Myers. But now we're just closer this year. The War Pigs, I consider them some, really close friends. Just really cool groups of guys. And then of course the other brothers that have, carried over, like Dalton, Clayton, Silva, Colby, Shank,
Tying it back
Oliver.
to the beginning of this episode, brother. It's all about those walls.
It is. And, I just look back on the good and the bad this year, and I feel like that I haven't really fully appreciated the good, even though there has been plenty. You know what I mean?
The good's always outweighed the bad.
Yeah, even though the bad can be pretty fucking bad. So, well, we are going to start wrapping up here, but before
hold
we
on,
do,
brother.
I have one more subject, because we're going a little bit longer than we normally do today, because this last podski
Merry
of the year.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa, happy Hanukkah, any holiday that you celebrate. Happy winter solstice to all of you.
Happy Easter. Who cares?
All I'm saying is we say Merry Christmas in this house. What we doing? What we doing? I hate these. I genuinely do. But they need to be talked about because it's kind of expected, I suppose. What are some resolutions that you have? I know the eye roll that you just gave me. What are some goals, some resolutions that you have for MadBash, or maybe you can go personal for 2025?
I want MadBash to take off even more.
I mean, but that's too general. You know what I mean?
That's too general, but that's what I want.
Yeah.
I think 2025, people are going to see a lot more MadBash and a lot more proficient MadBash, not only in the studios aspect, but the films and the wrestling.
Yeah.
We got a lot of stuff cooking. I know some of the stuff, but I'm not going to say it.
Obviously.
And I hope you guys ain't sick of us yet, because it's picking up already.
You know what's funny? I saw a Facebook memory this week, and you'll probably remember this status where I said MadBash Studios has become one giant NDA at this point, and it really had.
Yeah.
It really had. And it still is, because there's a lot of stuff in the works. Things to look forward next year. There's the Detonate division is still coming. It's gotten pushed back a little bit, but I trust us when we say the Detonate division is going to be coming next year.
I'm really excited for that
I'm
one.
very excited for the Detonate division, man. We're going to try to get some more episodes of Redline out. I can't really say when. That's kind of just going to be a whenever we can get them out. You know what I mean? There's and then there's going to be other film projects and stuff, like, I just so much stuff. But my resolution for next year with MadBash specifically is I'm shooting my shot. I'm saying this. I don't know what genre I want it to be. I don't know the length. I don't know anything about it. MadBash Studios, MadBash Films, which I think is the most underappreciated division of MadBash.
Oh yeah.
I want a feature length. I would settle for short film or feature length film released by MadBash Films next year.
I want to go for full length, brother.
That's my resolution. I'm going to start low. I'm going to aim low. And my backup to that, if not a film, I would like to present a pilot or something. I would like to do more with MadBash Films next year. And MadBash Films and Mischievous Rabbit are kind of in bed together. They're kind of essentially the same thing.
Yeah.
So I would like to see more from those two brands because I feel like that they're kind of the forgotten stepchildren of.
Because we can do a lot more than just documentaries.
Yeah, we can do a lot more than just wrestling as well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited to look forward to that. So you said that you had something, Madrox.
It's Christmas time, baby.
It is.
So I want to throw it out there for anyone that's subscribed to us on Patreon.
Now, does this include free, paid?
Free, paid, anyone that's subscribed on Patreon.
Oh, okay. You
have until, let's say, January 27th. That's my birthday.
Okay.
You guys got a free gift from us. So you hit us up on the Facebook page or email us. And you guys
show us or you can message us on Patreon as well, so that we can prove that you're a Patreon, because we know who is and isn't a Patreon supporter.
You guys get a free cameo video from us.
Hey, there you go.
You guys can pick who you want in it, what you want us to say, and everything. A little thank you for you guys.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So you got about a month to make that happen, and this includes new subscribers as well. Like so we've got we're. Excuse me. We're really kind of throwing it down for the Patreon right now.
You have to, man. They're a backbone.
Oh, of course.
So you guys want us to quit your job for you, break up with somebody for you, just wish you a Merry Christmas?
Give you a pep talk? Are you down in the dumps and you need a little pick-me-up? We'll give you a little
just
pep
want
talk.
us to make random Pokemon noises while we wear pillowcases over our head. Whatever.
Okay. I know someone is probably going to request that now, and I know who that someone is. Don't say who, but you and I know who
I
it's
know.
probably going to be. Yeah, I like that a lot. And then this also includes the people that would be new to Patreon. This isn't just existing members. The 5 new members to Patreon, now paid members, mind you. We're not going to include free members, but 5 new paid members. If we get 5 new paid members, you will see Franky the Frycook come to fruition next year, and we will film a stand-up set at a local bar here in our
And you guys
hometown.
get to see the success or the epic failure.
Oh, it's going to be a failure. What do a tick and the Eiffel Tower have in common, sir? You right there in the front row. What do a tick and the Eiffel Tower have in common?
I don't know what we're doing, Frankie.
They're both Paris sites. Ah, what we doing? What we doing?
The bar's gonna go mild.
If April showers bring Mayflowers, then what do Mayflowers bring?
Pilgrims.
God, get him the fuck out of here. He's ruining it. No, you need to get him out of here. He's ruining my punchlines. Oh,
Was I right?
Oh, did I just break character? I was sorry. I got to get back to character now. Yeah, you were right. Yeah, man, it's cool. It's cool. Everyone that is subscribed on the Patreon, be looking forward to this paid show. We're going to kind of continue the discussion. We've got some things going on that we kind of want to talk about, Yeah, so considering that this is the last podcast of the year, allow me to take this moment, and I hope I don't get too maudlin, to just say again, thank you. Thank you to everyone that has believed in us, and thank you to everyone that has supported us, whether it be financially on Patreon, free just by liking our Facebook page, or free by any share that has been taken, like any iota of support that you have given us. It means the absolute world to us, guys, and that's not lost on us at all.
Not at all.
At all. And I don't want you to think that it is. I know that, sometimes life can get in the way, and I'm sure that a lot of you are like wanting the weekly show to come back, which it is next year. And, I know that sometimes we can be a little bit sparse on Patreon, but we always make it up and we always get our stuff out. I just wanted to continue that at the end of the day, if you see MadBash Wrestling, MadBash Studios on a flyer or on somewhere, that you know that you're going to be looking at the best of the best. And we can't do it without you guys. And that's really what it all comes down to, because like when we first said that we were launching the Patreon, we said that we were doing it with you, for you. And that's literally what we're doing. It's like, those on the $10 tier, like, don't forget, like, message us. Like,
you guys got creative
you
control.
have creative control. You can pitch ideas for stuff for us to do. And we've got plenty of ideas. We've got plenty of ideas that are going to be coming down the road. So, all right, Madrox, what's your final words to the loyal listeners?
I just want to say happy holidays and be safe, guys. See you next year.
Yeah. That's a big one too. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, whatever. Hail Krampus, whatever you need to say.
Hail Saban.
Hail Saban. Point to the dude. Whenever we were taking the promo pics for Colby Jack with the MadBash title, I know that he's the biggest Motor City Machine Guns mark. So I made him do because whenever Saban won the TNA title,
strap.
he did the strap across the chest. I was like, do one like this, and he's like, okay, yeah. So then it's like, dude, I love those promo pics of Colby Jack. I think that turned out really well. But all right, guys, for those of you on the Patreon, don't forget what Madrox just laid out. And then don't forget, if you sign up at the Patreon at the $5 tier or $10 tier, doesn't matter. It's got to be a paid tier. There's got to be 5 of you guys. We will make Franky the Frycook happen next year.
And I'm gonna make it sweeter.
Oh, what are we doing? What are we doing?
If Franky the Fry Cook is stepping up on the stage, I guarantee that some MadBash boys were going to be there in the front row.
Oh, for sure.
Guarantee it for you guys.
For sure. We'll even tell you the day and the time for those of you local if you want to come. Like, we'll make it a big event. Yeah. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and get off here. For those of you on the Patreon, we will see you on Podski, on the old Paid Show. And the rest of you, all of you, we will see you down the road on some form of content.